Welcome to today's iRacing car overview, featuring the Nissan GTP ZX-Turbo. This car arrived in iRacing in 2016, along with the Audi 90 GTO. The car was introduced in 1986, but heavily developed into our version by 1988. In the 1989 IMSA Kamel GT Championship, it was driven by Jeff Brabham and Chip Robinson. It completely dominated the competition in its updated form, with 10 wins across the season, 9 poles, 7 fastest laps, and both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championship wins. The Nissan GTP has a turbocharged V6 engine mounted in the middle of the car. It's capable of rapidly outputting 795 brake horsepower, ensuring top speeds of nearly 200 miles per hour. The wedged profile of the aerodynamic monocoque produced a whopping 7,000 pounds of downforce at 200 miles per hour, or about half this at the more realistic 150 miles per hour. It uses a 5-speed dog-box H-pattern gearbox, meaning a shifter can be used, but many prefer to practice the paddle-based lift shifting for ease of use. The cockpit of the Nissan resembles a bubble shape, giving good visibility in a wide arc. The interior has an element of retrofuturism. For such an advanced car at the time, and one guaranteed to be fast even today, it still features fully analog gauges and dials. The chunky buttons and switches are sure to evoke a sense of beautiful 80s nostalgia. The turbocharged nature of the engine is very prevalent in the audio produced by iRacing, with many enjoying the various chirps and vacuum cleaner-based noises it outputs. Combined together, all the noises you hear ensure you feel like you're strapped into the cockpit of a rocket ship, about to fly around the track at Mach 5, not too far off from what driving the car actually feels like. But don't just listen to me, have a listen to the car. Characteristics of the car are much like most prototypes, albeit slightly different due to the ground effect design. At higher speeds, the Nissan gains an infallible level of grip, with the amount of downforce provided. In most cases, you'll be flat to the floor in the accelerator in fast sections, carving your way through any long winding corners. However, at much lower speeds, the grip disappears very quickly, as you rely only on what the forward tyres can provide. It turns out, this isn't much. Due to the car's power and acceleration, it has a notorious amount of wheel spin in very slow sections, so careful management of the throttle is needed to ensure you get a smooth exit. You can often see many a driver looping it out of chicanes or hairpins due to the lack of traction control. The car also has some inherent understeer, which usually occurs off-throttle, catching some drivers out and causing them to scrub their tyres. Speaking of tyres, they can overheat very quickly if you're sliding the car around in low-speed areas. You'll often have to be extremely gentle after this occurs, as it takes a moment for them to cool down. Tyre wear in general is moderate, mostly becoming an issue at hotter track temperatures or circuits with high load, such as Sonoma. The car is obviously extremely fast in a straight line. It's faster than most modern prototypes. So fast, in fact, that the 1989 version we have was restricted by at least 250 horsepower. Despite having no ABS, the car has extremely good braking performance, allowing you to brake hard and late into the corner. However, be wary, as if you don't bleed off the brake enough, rear locking is not uncommon. One outstanding issue of the Nissan in iRacing is that the rear suspension can often bounce quite significantly over certain bumps. This phenomenon has caused many a frustrating death, so it's best to avoid most high curves. The Nissan is drivable in the IMSA Vintage Series, previously known as Kamel GT. This is a multi-class series along with the Audi 90 GTO in the slower class. The two cars behave very differently, with the Nissan being a nimble, high-speed piece of cheese, and the Audi being a fat brake. This creates an interesting dynamic between the two during races that can only be described as chaotic. It's highly recommended to practice driving both in and around each car to learn the best ways to deal with them. The series itself is a lower participation one, however, has a dedicated and tight-knit community that organises guaranteed weekly time slots to suit both the EU and NA communities. If you're interested in joining in, these can be found in your time zone at camelgt.com. Thank you for watching this iRacing car overview for the Nissan GTP ZX-Turbo. If you enjoyed this content or found it helpful, I would appreciate a quick click of the like button, and if you would like to see more in the future, a longer press of the subscribe button.